Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us today. Today, we're diving into a story about a very normal online work meeting. But what happens when something completely unexpected interrupts the everyday routine? Get ready to discover a funny and insightful story about the challenges and surprises of modern office life. Before we begin, if you enjoy our stories and want to help us create more, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the English Story Nook. And if you'd like to support us further, you can buy us a coffee using the link in the description below. Every bit of support means the world to us and helps our community grow. And now, to the story. He quit mid-Zoom and left the mic on the Monday morning meeting at Agile Stagnance Beweglich Synergy was an exercise in corporate ritual. A grid of familiar faces, pixelated and poorly lit, stared out from Heli Sornosa's monitor. Their boss, Maha Vargas, was outlining the quarterly strategy with a series of slides dense with esoteric acronyms and charts that promised exponential growth. It was the kind of presentation designed to be impressive rather than understood. Heli found herself nodding along, her agreement as perfunctory as the weak coffee she was nursing. The digital meeting space, once a novelty, had become a ubiquitous feature of their lives, a virtual room where time seemed to warp and attention spans went to die. She was contemplating the myriad ways she could be more productive when a new voice cut through Maha's monologue. It was Hanasa Sanchez. He hadn't unmuted to ask a question. His face, usually a mask of polite indifference, was set in a grim line. "Maha, I'm going to have to stop you there," he said, his tone devoid of its usual deference. A collective silent gasp rippled through the virtual attendees. I can't do this anymore. The platitudes, the synergistic frameworks that lead nowhere, it's all just a beautifully designed hamster wheel. He took a breath. I quit. Effective immediately. With that, his video feed vanished, but his audio channel remained live, a pulsing icon next to his name, an open portal into his life. The initial shock was followed by an unfathomable silence, broken only by the faint sound of a chair scraping and a triumphant sigh from Hanasa's end. The team was in a quagmire before they even understood the full extent of the problem. For a moment, nobody moved. Maha Vargas was frozen, her mouth slightly agape. Then, the sounds from Hanasa's apartment began to trickle through the speakers. First, the clatter of a mug being slammed into a sink. Then, a cat meowing, followed by Hanasa's voice, cooing, "That's right, Chairman Meow, we're free. No more sycophantic emails for us." Amjad Ali stifled a laugh, quickly disguising it as a cough. Julia Barahona's eyes were wide with a mixture of horror and delight. They were living vicariously through Hanasa's rebellion. Maha, recovering, tried to regain control. Right. Well, as I was saying, the Q3 projections. But her voice was now competing with Hanasa loudly singing a sea shanty, horribly off-key. The professional drone of the meeting had been replaced by a bizarre cacophony. The situation was already awkward, but the open mic served to exacerbate the tension tenfold. The team tried to focus, but it was impossible. Hanasa was a phantom guest, an invisible agent of chaos. They heard him blend a smoothie, argue with a podcast host, and then, most mortifyingly, take a call from his mother, to whom he complained at length about his insufferable boss who thinks a PowerPoint is a panacea for a failing business model. Healy, against her better judgment, started taking notes. Stripped of its vitriol, Hanasa's critique was surprisingly astute. He was highlighting the very issues the team discussed in private, but never dared to voice. His precipitous exit had, ironically, produced more honest feedback than any official review. The corporate jargon Maha spouted, felt particularly esoteric now, a dead language compared to Hanasa's raw, unfiltered commentary. The situation escalated when Hanasa began a loud video call with a friend. "You should have seen it!" he crowed, his voice full of performative bravado. "I just walked away. No 2 weeks' notice, no exit interview, just freedom." His friend laughed, and they launched into a detailed and unflattering imitation of Maha's management style. Maha's face was turning a dangerous shade of crimson. "What is going on?" she finally snapped, her voice tight with fury. "Why is everyone so distracted? Is this some kind of joke?" The team was trapped in a digital quagmire, caught between loyalty to their careers and their morbid fascination with the unfolding drama. They were all complicit, silent observers of a career implosion. Being a fly on the wall was one thing. Being trapped in the room with the fly, the wall, and your boss was another entirely. Just as Julia was about to confess, the sounds from Hanasa's mic shifted again. He was yelling at a delivery person. "What do you mean you can't find the address? It's 14B Sycamore Drive. Are you blind?" The revelation of his physical location hung in the air, transforming the farce into a potential privacy breach. That was the final straw. Maha's eyes scanned the participant list, her mouse hovering, and then she saw it. Hanasa Sanchez is muted, no. Her expression was one of pure, undiluted rage. "Right," she said, her voice dangerously calm. "I'm calling it security. This is a flagrant violation of company policy." She looked utterly nonplussed by the sheer unprofessionalism of it all. "Wait," Helly said, surprising herself. All eyes, including Maha's furious ones, snapped to her. This was it. A sinint that required more than just hollow bravado. "Maha, please don't. What Hanasa did was unprofessional. There's no question. But he also gave us a gift." She held up her notebook. "This is the most honest feedback this team has received in years." He's articulated the myriad problems with Project Chimera that we've been too afraid to mention. His methods were unorthodox, but the data is valuable. Amjad nodded in support. "She's right, Maha. It's an accidental consulting session." Helly knew it was a gamble. She was trying to reframe a disaster as an opportunity, a moment of precipitous chaos as a catalyst for change. She hoped Maha would see the logic and not just the insubordination. Maha stared at Helly, her expression unfathomable. The seconds stretched into an eternity, filled only by the distant sound of Hanasa, now attempting to assemble what sounded like a very complicated piece of furniture. "So your solution is to let him continue broadcasting his entire life to this team?" she asked, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "No," Helly replied, her confidence growing. "My solution is we handle this internally. We remove him from the call, and then we actually discuss the issues he raised. Let's not let the absurdity of the situation overshadow the validity of the critique." She navigated her mouse to Hanasa's name and clicked remove. His audio channel vanished. Silence, sudden and absolute, filled their headsets. It was over. The cacophony was gone. The team looked at each other, a shared sense of relief and adrenaline bonding them. Maha was quiet for a long time, leaving everyone to wonder if they were all about to be fired. When she finally spoke, her tone had shifted. She looked tired, but also intrigued. She was still nonplussed, but a flicker of respect had replaced the anger in her eyes. "Send me those notes, Helly," she said, "and schedule a follow-up for this afternoon. Topic: Project Chimera, an unfiltered post-mortem." She paused. And let's agree this never happened. She ended the meeting. Helly leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. The ubiquitous virtual workplace had created an unprecedented problem, but in navigating it, they had stumbled upon something far more valuable than a quiet meeting. They had found their voice. The company's talk of agility was usually just talk, a panacea offered for deep-rooted issues. But today, forced by a rogue employee and an open mic, they had actually been agile. And it felt like a genuine beginning. The sycophantic pleasantries were gone, replaced by a shared, bizarre experience and a chance to do real work. That's the end of our story for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Have you ever experienced a surprising moment in a meeting or a class? We would love to hear about it in the comments. Sharing your own stories is a great way to practice your English. And remember to check the description box for helpful resources to continue your learning. Thank you for listening and learning with us today. Keep practicing your English, stay curious, and we look forward to seeing you in our next story. Goodbye for now.